Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is another happy hour episode with Anna Morphides from Mending Hearts Counseling. I am a certified wellness counselor and life skills coach, and on this channel I really want to shed light and share knowledge that I have learned in my journey of becoming a counselor and having a degree in biopsychology, of what it really means to be human and how to live your best life, your dream life, become your best version of self, and really embark the unlimited potential that we all have from within us to harvest. And without further ado, on this episode, we're going to be talking about the key to co-creating your reality or manifesting your reality. That is what we're going to be talking about today. The key to co-creating, aka manifesting your reality. And I didn't want to say the secret because now it's really no longer a secret. It actually is a fact, and the spiritual part of it is really supported by the scientific component of it and why this really works. So we're going to really talk about the idea of why circumstances don't matter when it comes to creating or manifesting your reality, and what really matters is your state of being. So what are circumstances? Circumstances are how your relationship is looking like currently, what uncomfortable experiences you're having in this moment, the amount of money that you are wanting to change. Like anything in this moment that is your current circumstance that you are experiencing and you want to be different, that's not what matters in creating what you do want to experience, what you do want to have. It's your state of being. And what does the state of being mean? Any counselor, psychologist, spiritual teacher, they all talk about the state of being, self-concept. It all goes back down to core beliefs. Your state of being is the way you feel about yourself. It's your emotional state of being. That is what is important in co-creating, aka manifesting your reality. It's your state of being. And how is your state of being controlled and or created? It is created by your core belief system, your self-concept. And those are the unconscious. 95% of your autonomic nervous system fires unconscious signals and beliefs about yourself that you have absorbed from the ages of 0 to about now, like where you are now. We are constantly absorbing our environment. But now as adults, we know what is true and not true, what is most serving for us to believe in versus not serving for us to believe in. Unfortunately, when we are children, or I should say fortunately or unfortunately, the fact is that when we are children and we acquire a core belief system, some scientists say we acquire it all the way up to 7, some say up to 10 or 12. But by the time we're 12 years old, we have a solid foundation and a solid belief system about who we are. And through those beliefs, we view the world. So our core beliefs become the lenses of perception of the experiences around us. And that's what cognitive behavioral therapy is completely based on. And that's why cognitive behavioral therapy works in untwisting those core beliefs through affirmations to create a new belief system about who you are, which will be a new state of being, which will lead into a different state of emotional well-being, which will lead to different experiences, because cognitive behavioral therapy has taught us that your thoughts create your emotions, and your emotions lead to your behaviors. Cognitive behavioral therapy, your cognition, your mind, essentially determines your behavior. And because a lot of that is unconscious, this is why we have to really shed light and awareness and become really aware of what our belief system is, what our state of being is, what are we constantly emitting out there day in and day out, because that state of being which is your emotional state of being, that emotion, energy in motion, is what by law of attraction will bring in your life experiences, and it doesn't have a choice to do anything different. Law of attraction works like the law of gravity. It's 24/7. Law of gravity, 9.81 meters per square second. You don't even have to think it. It works all the time, and that's why everything is not floating around on planet Earth. Same with the law of attraction. Through the natural laws of energy, Newton's laws of physics, quantum physics, chemistry, they're all the same. Like attracts like. Input equals output. There is no other way around it. That's why your state of being is so important. Your emotions that you carry around you predominantly, because we're allowed to be sad once in a while and we're allowed to be disappointed. Of course, we're going to feel all these feelings, but how much you stay in there is what will determine your state of being and will determine your personal reality. And I have experienced it. So I'm going to take a second right here and show you. So for my listeners on the podcast, there is a link to the actual video if you want to take a look to see. Oh, this is not it. This is cognitive distortions that come from our core beliefs. If you take a look at this sheet right here, you can pause it and take a look. I grew up with a belief system that I was, where am I? I'm not good enough. I am unlovable. I am unlikable. I am unworthy. I am not good enough to be loved by others. I am bound to be rejected. I'm bound to be abandoned. I'm bound to be alone. And that belief system was created from the environment that I grew up in. Had I had parents that praised me, told me how proud they are of me, told me how worthy I was, told me I love you, hugged me, just gave me encouragement, my belief system would have been completely different. My belief system would have been, I am worthy, I am likable. I would feel completely different about myself. And my entire existence up until I reached almost 40 would have been completely different because the lenses of perception of my reality would have been through different core beliefs. The minute I understood that through my studies to become a wellness counselor and life skills coach is when, actually even a little bit before that, because I was just so tired of feeling so much guilt and shame all the time because that was my state of being. I was writing in guilt and shame about who I was, my unworthiness. My abandonment wound was really depicting my relationships because I was just expecting to be abandoned, sort of like reflecting my childhood emotional and I guess my physical needs were met. I did have a roof over my head and my mom did provide food for us, but like my emotional wellness, my mental wellness and my spiritual wellness, that definitely was not nurtured. I did not have the 4 S's, safe, seen, secure, and soothed. Therefore, I was not able to create a positive self-view. Therefore, I suffered in my relationships up until I was about 38 to 40 because my state of being was that of someone who had a negative self-view and felt unworthiness. And I'm really going to show you what I really mean about state of being, because thanks to David Hawkins, who has mapped out the human consciousness level of our emotions measured in hertz. So depending on that emotion that is predominantly surrounding you, you will have a certain vibrational field measured in hertz that will be attracting the like amount of experiences and that same level of hertz, if that makes sense. That is what physics and chemistry is all about. Like attracts like. Same, that one molecule can attract another molecule of its same existence. So I'm going to show you, I really ought to laminate this. This is the map of consciousness, and you can see where the life view is hopeless, evil, miserable, is when you are in the red zone and your consciousness level or your state of being is mostly made out of guilt and apathy and shame. And then fear, greed, desire, your life view is that of disappointment, tragic, frightened. And then your predominant emotions is anxiety, regret, craving. Your predominant emotions when you are writing in the emotions of guilt and shame is despair, blame, humiliation. But once we get to acceptance and willingness and neutrality, our life view becomes harmonious, hopeful, satisfactory, and the predominant energetic motion of that state of being is forgiveness, optimism, and trust. Trust that you will get everything that you're desiring. Trust that you can get to where you want to get. You're not doubting. It's okay to doubt once in a while, but predominantly, trust is what would serve us best to have in any particular situation. Trust I'm going to have my dream relationship. Trust I'm going to have my dream job. And every time you get a no, remember that there's a yes out there waiting for you. So again, what is going to be your state of being in that circumstance? That is what matters in manifesting a new relationship, a new job, is keeping the faith and the trust alive. And how do you do that? Via gratitude. Gratitude is the best way to raise your vibration. No matter what, you wake up in the morning, like even for me, I was really trying to come into an alignment with an additional position to my counseling business that had to do with counseling and psychology. And I really had to dig deep into my faith and trust that it was going to come at the right time. And I did get a couple of no's along the way, but my state of being was determining what was going to come next. I could have gone into my unworthiness because that is what my body tended to want to do. If I got an email, we are so sorry to let you know that we have received your application, and after careful consideration, we are going to go ahead with other applicants that are a little bit more suitable with what we are looking for. How am I interpreting that? And I wanted to interpret that as I'm not good enough. But if I really have trust and faith that that job is just not the one that was meant to be for me, and the one that is going to be for me will come, and I could apply the same thing in my relationships. If somebody does not want me, does not want to go out with me, having trust and faith that somebody else will is what I'm supposed to be doing. And my state of being through the experience of having that no is what matters in me finding the next yes. Because if I stay in my regret, shame, unworthiness, and all that, as you saw from the diagram, I'll be riding really low. And the chances that I'm going to bring in another no or another person that will continue to show me or trigger my unworthiness wound is going to be highly likely. So my state of being is what really matters, because I want to be in acceptance. I want my predominant emotions to be that of forgiveness, optimism, trust. My life will be harmonious, hopeful. I'll be satisfied even if I'm getting a no, because I know that the yes will eventually come. And sure enough, my yes did come, and it came at the right time, and I couldn't be more elated. And sometimes I just look at myself after all this work that I've done, and I do wonder, is it really that easy? And the answer kind of is, yes, it really is that easy. It doesn't feel easy in the moment because overcoming those challenging emotions requires effort. It requires you to be in your gratitude, to do your gratitude in the morning, to do your positive affirmations, to untwist your negative core beliefs about yourself. Every time you have a negative thought, to reaffirm the opposite. That requires work, and that part does not necessarily feel easy. But once you get the hang of it and you continue to have trust and faith, then it actually does become easy. Everything just flows to you because your state of being has no other choice but to bring you more experiences to stay in that state of being, because the law of attraction is going to be working in your favor in this moment and at all moments. And that's why Buddha said, if you're happy, 50% of the time you're winning in the game of life, because our predominant emotions are joy, fear, anger, sadness, and disgust. So the chances that we're going to land in the emotion of fear, anger, disgust, and sadness, as opposed to joy, is higher just due to the laws of probability alone. So I understand why Buddha says that. But predominantly, if we can just stay joyful by transforming our experiences into positive, there's always a positive in every experience. If we stay in that state of being, then everything is a gift, and we bring in more gifts even through challenges. And yeah, that is how we're supposed to be living life. And I do want to share quickly a really big example of this. When I got my new position and I went in for the first day, I got a phone call, and I saw that it was from my kids' school, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe, I don't think it's going to be a big deal, because sometimes they just call me and they're like, oh, your son or daughter is feeling unwell, can you come pick up? But this time, it turns out when I called back, my son had actually broken his arm, and so that was pretty major. That's not just, so the poor thing is suffering, and when he goes into that state of being, of wanting to feel sorry for himself and why that happened, and we try to think about what is the gift that came out of this experience, I can come up with one really big gift that he was given in this experience. He really is not, or maybe he was not grasping this concept of gratitude and my state of being, and how he would always often say that my positivity and gratitude does not work, and he kind of thought it was just not really real. And how do you convince a 13-year-old otherwise, unless they're able to have that experience themselves? And he very much was living his life from the glass is half empty rather than half full. And I've been trying to get him to see it differently. And I'm not going to give up, because I had trust and faith that one day that's going to switch. And I feel when he went under, in order for them to put his arm back together, in that state of being sedated, he had an amazing experience that he shared with me after, where he connected, as he put it, with, first of all, with our dog, who we had to put down earlier this year, which was really tragic for our family. First of all, he said our dog visited him and sat on his lap the entire time. And he said he actually had a chance to feel him again, which he was asking for since he would literally say out loud, I wish I could feel Sammy again. And not only did he connect with him there, he also said that he felt like there was all these other people that had, he said, that were dead, but were related to the people that he really cared about, that were also there. And I'm getting goosebumps as I say that. And he said that it just felt really happy, and it felt like love. And I truly believe that to be true, because on that level of consciousness, yes, you are able to connect to that spirit world, and that's what it's supposed to feel like. That's where we come from. We come from love. We come from unconditional love. We come from happiness, and then we come here on planet Earth, master planet. This is not a kindergarten joke of a class. This is a master class of a planet where we really learn how to become our best version by experiencing what we choose as traumatic events. I'm also a true believer of that. And I think that this experience is going to be the key for him to flip that switch and now see everything as the glass is half full, because he has experienced that love, that unconditional love, that happiness, that state of gratitude. I don't have to convince him anymore. He's had it. So I will take that to be the nugget that came of this experience. And if we continue to look at life in this way, because even as I'm saying that out loud, it takes a minute to not feel victim and just have trust and faith that everything happens for a reason, even though it might feel so torturous and treacherous in that moment. I am going to stop my video right here. I hope and trust that what I've shared, I was able to deliver in a way that makes sense, in a tangible way, scientifically, not just spiritually, and really anchor in what it means to have a state of being that brings in experiences that are pleasant and take us out of the uncomfortableness that a lot of us have been, unfortunately, not knowing how to get out of all these years. But now we do. We are shifting as a society, as a world, like our consciousness is shifting to that of a higher state of awareness. And with knowledge comes power, and the power is always in your control because you have chosen everything. You're always the protagonist of your life. And once you also make that a core belief and a state of being, then you are no longer victim, and everything is your choice, and you're always going to be in a state of power, and everything is happening for you, not to you. Everything is happening for you, not to you. With all my love and gratitude, I hope you have a blessed rest of your day, and I will see you next time.